I'm always excited to try some new things with you, Bob. I was just reflecting that this is the start, as we're recording this, the start of our fourth year together podcasting.
Wow.
I know. And also,
Wow.
I always get sentimental around the end of the year, just like, oh, where's my life been and what's going on then and now and future. But also, like, I've known you over 13 years. And
Oh
so
my
I don't
gosh.
know, that's it this with the sentiments, but I'm excited for what we're about to talk about and try in this fun episode. And I'm going to let you take it from here.
Yeah, we're going to spin this a little bit, listeners. And I think this is going to be extremely exciting for you as a listener because this was just something that popped into my head, recently. And I was like, you know what? This would be really fun for Dina and I to do. And here's what we're calling it: agree, disagree, or pass. And I know that doesn't sound like much right now, listeners, but here's the thing. You are going to find that Dina and I, are going to have a very stimulating discussion because here's the format of agree, disagree, or pass. Dina and I have prepared three or four questions slash statements that we are going to pose to each other. And we are going to ask that person if they agree with the statement or question, disagree, or if they want to pass, meaning they don't want to discuss that. Now, the rules are we only get one pass per agree, disagree, and pass episode. Now, here's the other thing. The cool thing is we have no idea what we're going to ask each other because we're doing these in secrecy. So, what you hear us saying, we have not rehearsed, we have not discussed, nothing. We basically came up with some topics and some statements and man, this could go great, and you never know, it could not go so great. But you know who's going to benefit? The listeners, and that's
I
that's the
hope
cool part
so.
to this. Oh
I
yeah, yeah,
also
yeah.
I'm very nervous. I'm like one of those people when I play games, especially like trivia or things like I do not excel at some of these. And I
Yeah.
know we're not competing, right, Bob? Are
Right.
we?
No, 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 no.
Okay.
I feel like this is more like, oh, let's like I want to know if Dina agrees with this or disagrees.
Okay.
And listen, we're also going to tell why we agree or disagree, right? It's not just
Okay.
going to be like, oh, agree, next, right? So our
Okay.
listeners, so everyone can actually get some good stuff. Like if I say, "Hey, I think red is the best color in the world, don't you, Dina?" And you're going to say, "No, I disagree, Bob, and here's why, because I like blue."
Okay.
Right?
Well, yeah, I was going to ask you, Bob, since we haven't discussed any of this, like, are you, and I'll just find out, but I was like, are you picking very controversial statements or are
Oh,
these going to be about
oh.
color red?
Am
So I guess
I?
I'm just going to find out,
Well,
as are you.
I'm looking at the list I wrote for you, and I kind of figured since this is our first agree, disagree, pass episode, I kind of went in a little bit easier. So I didn't want to
Oh,
do
good.
really like hot controversial topics because I want to let both of us kind of warm up to this and for our listeners
Okay.
to kind of get a little bit of a laugh and a chuckle, but nothing like, oh my gosh, are they going to go after each other in this one?
Right.
Because that's not
Right.
the goal here. The goal is literally to see what we agree, disagree with, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. So to be clear, the response is agree, disagree, or pass. You can't
Yes.
say it depends,
No,
right?
it
You've got to
depends. Yep.
either,
Correct. And you can say it depends in your answer, obviously, because you can explain why you agree or disagree
okay.
or why. And I don't think we really need to tell why we're passing, right? We just don't want to talk about it,
Okay.
right?
Okay. All right,
So,
Bob, let me hydrate a little
all
with
right, I'm
yeah.
going to ask you the first one
Okay.
because you're
Oh
nervous.
no. I can't drink right now. I'll save that sip of coffee for later.
Okay. I'm
Okay.
going to start with an easy one, Dina.
All
Okay. This
right.
is this is just to get you warmed up, okay? Here is my statement that I'm gonna pose to you. Do you agree, disagree, or do you want to pass with this one? Creatine is important for all adult athletes to consume on a daily basis.
Oh, I love. I will agree.
Okay. And
Unless
why do
you
you
have
agree?
kidney failure.
So,
No, I'm
so
just
why
kidding.
why do you agree with that?
No, I do agree. The emerging evidence, the body of evidence that we've had to date, but the emerging evidence appearing for the many sets of the general population, the extent to which we are seeing health benefits, not just performance or strength benefits. So, in general, I'm just seeing like the consensus in the body of scientific literature supporting the use of creatine on a daily basis for adults and the negatives or potential negatives being minimal. So, is that enough of an answer?
Yeah, and here's the thing too, like I can't agree or disagree with your agree or disagree
No.
either, right? So I just have to
Okay.
sit here and be like, okay,
Uh-huh,
okay.
uh-huh. Okay. So until you get asked that question.
Right, right.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So then I just move on, right,
You
Bob?
just
We
move
move
on.
on.
Yeah,
Okay.
fire away.
Okay, let's pick this one. I'm looking at my list. Since you led off with that one, I'm going to pick one that's kind of similar. Do you agree, disagree, or do you want to pass? Caffeine is the most superior ergogenic aid.
Oh, I'm gonna disagree with that one. Because there has to be context in that one, right? Because it depends on the athlete, right? We know caffeine is a great ergogenic aid. It works. It helps stimulate the central nervous system and makes us feel up. It reduces rating of perceived exertion. Yes, I do not believe it's the most powerful one because context was not given in that. So, for example, if you're a gymnast and you're trying to do a routine on the beam, which takes some very finite motor skills, having too much caffeine could actually turn out to be an ergolytic, which is a performance decreasing effect on that particular event for that particular sport. Even though I do believe in caffeine wholeheartedly, I do not believe, so I disagree that it is the more, which, what did you say again? The most
The
like
most
robust,
superior,
the most
most
superior. Yeah, I
superior.
totally disagree with that.
I love this. This is so cool, Bob, as I'm like hearing you because you and I get asked all kinds of questions in on our everyday basis, right? And so I'm just thinking of the listener who may have similar questions, but they're going to appreciate the reasons to maybe frame questions differently or
Exactly.
add this context for themselves.
Yeah.
So
Totally. And
excellent.
we're giving our opinion. We're going to cite some research at times too. But listen, we're going off of our how many years we've been doing this experience. And that's the cool part. Like you said, like the listeners will really, guys and gals, you guys are going to get some really great content here for sure.
Mhm.
Okay, number two. So now that we have you warmed up, Dina,
Okay.
okay. This one, oh, that one I'm going to save for the last one.
Oh
Okay,
no.
hold on, hold on. Ooh, this is a good one. Here's the statement I'm going to pose to you. Do you agree or disagree, or do you want to pass? It's okay not to consume calories before a morning workout,
Oh,
i.e.,
wowza.
going into a fasted workout. That's what I'm getting at, listeners.
All right, Bob.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Because I have to agree, disagree, or pass, I'm going to disagree. And
Okay.
I'm just being a little hesitant because there is yeah, it's similar, like, well, what's that context piece?
Yep.
But I would say if it's truly a morning workout, you're starting your day, probably going to get a lot more out of the workout, short term and long term. And I'm just going to remove the word probably. We're going to get a lot more out of that workout with some fuel on board. However, the amount of fuel and timing type of fuel and all that is variable. So I would say I would disagree with that statement, even though part of me is like, "Oh, except there might be one or two cases where it's going to be
Yeah.
fine." But so yeah, I'm just gonna stop rambling and say I disagree.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Love it.
Your turn, Bob, to agree, disagree, pass that an omnivorous diet is superior to a vegan diet for
Oh,
health outcomes.
oh, you're gonna throw this is a
What a
good one, D.
doozy.
This one is a doozy. Okay, let me repeat it. An omnivorous nutrition plan is
Hmm.
superior for health reasons over a vegan nutrition plan. Is that what you
Yes.
said?
Yep.
Okay. I completely agree. Oh my
Ooh.
gosh. I am not here to make friends. No, I'm not, listeners. And here's why, because I do have, this is very close to home with me because, this happened to me actually. I was okay, listen, I was not vegan, but I was very close. I was vegetarian for 10 years. And listen, from a health perspective, my biomarkers, especially blood lipids, were horrendous. Now, again, listeners, if you've been listening for a while, you know I have a family history of cholesterol, cardiovascular disease, all that great stuff, right? So obviously, I'm a little more particular to my nutrition with because of that, especially as I'm aging. And listen, D, I found, N of one when I was more on a plant-based, nutrition plan, more plant-based, let's just call it diet. My health markers were horrible. My body fat was higher. My body weight was a little bit higher, although that didn't really affect me that much. But my cholesterol numbers were in the toilet. Not until I introduced some animal proteins did those actually change for the better? Now, of course, we have to put this in context because I cannot generalize and say, oh, of course, that's right for everybody. I do believe that that's why I agree with this, why omnivore is superior to that, because I feel like more people need to pop the hood and see what's going on underneath or inside their body before they try any type of quote unquote diet. But I found with me, optimizing my blood sugar better with omnivore or more animal-based proteins was far superior in improving my health markers, and I will stand by that until the day I am not on this earth anymore.
Wowza. I almost
Yeah.
want to add a follow-on question, but I don't know if that's permitted in the rules.
Well, it's the
Not
first time
really.
we're doing this, so go for it. Like we can make
Well,
our own rules.
okay, we'll just try it. If calories are equated, do
Yeah.
you still feel the same?
You mean like calorie per calorie kind of a thing?
Yeah, like
Or
if you have 2,000 calories on the omnivorous plan versus
uh
2,000 on the vegan, and protein, carb, fat was equated, would that
oh,
be
so now
this?
you're playing a different
Oh,
game,
maybe we
right?
should save that for a
Let's
follow-on.
let's save that
Different.
because I
Okay.
feel like that would sway my answer
Yeah.
because now we're doing
Yeah.
more of a app like the
Yeah.
Macintosh Apple to Macintosh Apple kind
Yeah.
of a thing. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll call that game what's the freaking context? That's the
Okay.
game that's
That's
that new
that's
game.
good. That'll be the next one, right? Yeah, for sure.
Okay, good.
Okay. Number three coming at you, D. You ready?
Yes.
I'm looking at which one.
I know.
I've got
I'm
some
like,
doozies for
I
you, but
am
nothing like you just threw
shaking.
me. That was a
I
curveball.
know. Well,
That
I
was a
just
good one.
decided to get it out of the way so that you could
Yes.
ask me a doozy.
Here's the statement tell me if you agree or disagree if you want to pass. Eliminating alcohol consumption is 100% necessary when trying to lose weight. Agree, disagree, or
My
pass?
my life is flashing before me right now.
While you're thinking, let me just repeat it for our
Okay,
listeners.
yeah, one more time.
Eliminating alcohol consumption, 100%. So eliminating alcohol consumption by 100% is absolutely necessary when trying to lose weight.
I'm gonna disagree.
Okay. Do tell.
Well, I still think calories are still very important when we're trying to shift body weight, right? Because you're talking about body weight, body mass. And so, alcohol comprising calories, if we're budgeting for said calories and all the other nutrition pieces are accounted for, I have seen and experienced even my own self a change in body weight with alcohol still being a part of one's
Mhm.
daily calorie intake. Now, then that context or like, but comes in
Yeah.
and is like,
Yeah.
except is that helpful calories to your weight loss journey? I would argue not. And those calories could be used elsewhere for more positive benefits. So, but to answer your question, I would say I would agree. Do agree. Wait,
Oh,
yes,
no, no.
disagree.
Do you disagree? Okay.
Disagree.
So you're
Yes,
saying that you do not have to eliminate alcohol
that's right.
from a daily nutrition plan if you're trying to lose weight. Okay. Yeah.
Yes,
That's a good one, right? Because I specifically put weight loss in there for a
I
reason.
know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think we're
It,
both
it, it,
looking at each other like,
it kind of seems like you're like, do I need to change my answer? Because
no.
you want to say more, but no, I see. I can't say anything. I can't say I agree or disagree. I can just be like, I'm just supporting you, Dina.
But it's calories. And so it'd be the same. Similar. I know it's a different compound than a piece of bread. The 120 calories from whatever, the Michelob Light or whatever beer. I don't even know what Michelob Light calorie content is. Maybe it's 50. But anyways, the calories from food item versus the alcohol is still part of the calorie in equation. There's just a lot more to weight loss than only calories, even though that is a primary driver of weight loss or weight gain. I'm just babbling to try and justify my answer a little bit more, but I think I'm going to conclude and end the ramble.
Okay. So I think what
Yes.
we've got going on so far is we know that I am on the very bad side of plant-based eaters, and you're on the very good side of those who include alcohol in
I
their daily
know.
nutrition plan. Okay. See how we're doing this,
Yes.
listeners?
Please reach out for your assistance so we can continue our alcohol intake for weight loss. No, I'm not arguing that
Oh boy.
for that.
No, no.
But
I,
interesting, Bob.
I
Okay, how are you feeling about this game or
I'm
this
good. Yeah. I think, do
strategy?
I have one more?
Oh no, it's your turn.
I know, right? Set me up. I'm sitting
Okay.
there. I'm waiting
I
for
know
the pitcher to throw me the ball.
I got all like
That flustered you.
kerfluffled.
Yeah.
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 Okay. Here is mine. I'm just gonna change gears a little bit,
Okay.
Bob.
Oh, game on. She's like, okay, I'm
I
going to my
know.
special questions now.
Okay. Crunchy peanut butter is superior to creamy peanut butter.
Wow. I don't even have to think about that one, D. That is a 1000% agree.
Oh, yes.
Listen, you do
Yes.
not eat peanut butter that's not crunchy. I am
I
sorry, you
just
just
wasn't
don't do that.
sure where you
No,
stood on
you
this.
can't do that.
So,
No, you need the texture. You need the, you know what I mean? You need the texture with that. And like that's peanut butter. Now, will I eat creamy? Sure, when I have to, right? But no, no such thing at like honestly, superior peanut butter is the crunchy peanut butter. Listeners, we would love to hear your debate on this.
ooh,
But that
well,
was like the easiest one. I appreciate setting me up with an easy one at the end.
I mean, it was a legit question I had for you, Bob.
Yeah.
So, because I have been around you when you've consumed peanut butter, and I'm like, I wonder, was there a time where you ate the creamy and you wish you had the crunchy, and
Oh,
it was just a
totally.
thing I needed resolved. And I'm
Yeah,
sure
I
there's,
appreciate you resolving that because it's not a stressor in my life, but like when I travel or like, crew for people, I'm like, oh man, I hope they get crunchy peanut butter. And I've actually started putting it on my list, like, hey, these are the things I need. I need crunchy peanut butter.
it's a requirement for
It
the
is.
crew and yes,
Yes.
happiness in life.
Okay,
Okay.
listeners. So hopefully you have enjoyed our first agree, disagree, or pass. And listen, we are not trying to make any enemies for plant-based. We're not trying to support alcohol consumption.
No.
This is purely just us kind of putting ourselves on the hot seat
Hmm.
and, literally giving you some great information on what we think of certain topics and certain statements. So please, of course, there's this disclaimer. We do not want to have anyone feel bad about this, but listen, we're doing this for content and we want you to learn. So hopefully that's what you've gathered today.
Yes, I think this was an enjoyable experiment or a way of questioning one another in a fun way, and also to really get to some more context, which it seems like almost all of these, even the peanut butter question, could be its own separate
Yeah,
episode in context and
for
conversation.
sure.
But
For sure. Yeah. And listeners, listen, listeners, listen. If you want to see more of these agree, disagree, pass, or if you don't want to see more of these, we would love to hear from you. So literally just drop us an email, hello@insidesportsnutrition.com, or hit us up on DM us on Instagram. You can actually follow us on our YouTube channel now because we're posting a lot of our content there, and you can comment on our YouTube channel on each episode, but we want to hear from you. We want to hear what you want to hear about. And, we're trying this. It's fun. Hopefully, it's been engaging for you. And Listen, also, I guess we should also point to them, Dina, that we have a new Patreon account because we are 100% sponsorless. That means we are not taking any sponsors on our podcast. We have decided, we've been doing that for a while, but we've decided wholeheartedly we're not going to take anybody's money. We want to be very transparent. We want to give you the info that is right to give you, and we don't want to be biased whatsoever. So if you do want to help us out, that's why we set up our Patreon account, just to be completely transparent with you. Obviously, it costs money to do these things. We have a video of what is his title? Don, shout out to you again, but he's like a software, what is
I
he,
know.
what's the technical?
I know he wears so many hats, but
He
I will
does.
call him right now podcast publisher
Okay.
extraordinaire.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So we actually do pay Don for his amazing services. And honestly, we want to keep the podcast going. So listen, if you give us a couple bucks and subscribe to our monthly Patreon, we've got two levels. We're going to do some amazing things this year in 2025 with providing content and secret content, special content that you're not going to get on our podcast. So head on over to what's our Patreon account again,
Yeah.
Dina? How do they find us?
Patreon. Yeah. Patreon.com/ISN podcast.
And with that, we wish you the best. Here's to a fantastic new year.
Happy New Year, everyone.